Hello, and welcome to another episode of Redcast Gaming Talk. This is the 8th part of my reading of Gameinformer's Pokemon Sword and Shield article, and so let's jump into it. Giant ambitions. The team had various ideas in mind for new features that could appear across the adventure, but they were nebulous and unattached. Several of the ideas they had in mind suddenly started snapping into place thanks to the idea of basing a game in the region inspired by the UK. Just in general, for a Pokemon game's development and where the ideas come from, usually in our heads we have all these different ideas existing as individual parts, Masuda says. For example, maybe we'll have an idea for a connectivity feature, or a battle feature, or a Pokemon. Then they're kind of all existing in your head. Then you'll have these moments where, for example, you're traveling or you're going to a media interview session and you'll feel the atmosphere of that location, and all of it will come together like, this is a good location to feature all of these other ideas I already had in my mind. There were definitely a lot of ideas, Omori says. There were a lot of ideas we explored for this game that we ended up not using. It all goes back to us having these individual parts swimming in our heads and finding the right one that makes sense for the game. One of those ideas that seemingly snapped into place with a UK-inspired region was the new max raid battles. For the first all-new console game in the series, Omori wanted to include a feature that reminded him of his younger days playing Nintendo 64 in the same room with his friends. He began brainstorming for ways to recreate this feeling, but didn't have any great ideas. He eventually found inspiration in the mythologies of giants involved in the founding of ancient Britain. The result is max raid battles, where players can gather together with other trainers to take on massive Pokemon together. If the team of players can take down the giant creature, the trainers are rewarded with the opportunity to catch the defeated Pokemon. While that may sound familiar to anyone who has played Pokemon Go, the idea actually predates the implementation of raids in the mobile smash hit. The initial concept of having cooperative battles against Pokemon, the raid idea, came before raids were implemented into Pokemon Go. But we saw Pokemon Go implement this raid feature and how popular it was for people to get together in the same space and enjoy these cooperative experiences, Omori says. I think there were some influence, like how in Pokemon Go you don't need to be a hardcore battler to enjoy the raid battles. It's really easy to invite a friend. We wanted to have that element in Sword and Shield's raid encounters as well. However, before raids were introduced in Pokemon Go, this mechanic in Pokemon Sword and Shield was simply referred to as cooperative battles, with the term raid now cemented in the lexicon of millions of Pokemon fans across the world. Game Freak decided to play off that word and make the feature instantly recognizable for a large chunk of its fanbase. Much like Pokemon Go's raids, the battles are ranked using a star system. The more stars the raid has, the more difficult it will be for players. According to WoW, players might be in for a rude awakening if they think they can just coast through the high-ranked max raid battles. I think it's going to have a kind of difficulty we haven't seen in a lot of main series Pokemon games up until now, Iwao says. Even for me, a seasoned Pokemon player, if I go with one of the 5-star max raid battles, I can definitely run into a situation where I'm not able to win. Thankfully, you can alleviate headaches by joining up with friends or choosing raid levels appropriate for your team of Pokemon. Even if you go into a max raid battle alone, AI teammates will join the fight alongside you. In addition, you can also even the odds by temporarily growing your own Pokemon to massive scales using one of Sword and Shield's centerpiece new features, Dynamax. And that's the end of part 8. That's all I have to say, so thanks for listening and goodbye.